What's up? Thanks for joining me. So today I wanted to talk about relationships. Not just any relationships though. I wanted to talk about crazy relationships. Me having a seventh house stellium is something that I always end up talking about with people. People come to me with their problems, or I've had a lot of these problems myself in my life. So let's just sit down and talk about this for a little bit, my people. Can we talk? Let's talk, okay? I just wanted to kind of point out a couple of things within what's called synastry, which is the astrology of two different people, how their energies match up with each other, and how that plays out. Just a couple of factors that can cause some really, really crazy stuff in relationships. For example, have you ever had a relationship where no matter what that person did, even if they were like a psychopath, you still couldn't stay away from them? Or have you ever met somebody and right away there's just this crazy weird like attraction where it's just a spark and you're like, whoa, who are you? Hey, who are you? Hey, and you just can't stay away from them. It's just all this crazy energy all the time. Or yeah, just no matter what somebody does, I mean, you can't get away. It's like there could be those times where they just act like a complete jerk, but there's this magnetic pull that you have between each other to where you just end up coming right back, like magnets or something. Just some recent events that some couple of friends have confided in me about the same time with each other. I've been wanting to do this video for a while, but just my friends confiding in me, at the same time about the same thing just kind of pushed me to say, all right, I'm finally gonna do this video interpreting what I feel makes this type of relationship. There's those relationships where people say, oh, well, this is my soulmate. And I feel like there's some planetary activity between two people that can cause you to feel that way. I'm not going to get too deep into the soulmate thing and how either I agree or disagree with it, because I think that there are people that you just have certain energy exchanges with, and it can just make you feel and think certain things. First, I wanted to talk about Pluto. Pluto contacts and relationships. So Pluto is a ruling planet of Scorpio. And if you all know Scorpio, and the cliche things that people say about Scorpio is Scorpios are crazy, they're psycho. Okay, well, just a little brief rundown about the sign of Scorpio, that type of energy. Scorpios are the investigators. They like to dig deep below the surface. They can see you on a soul level just by looking at you in your eyes. They could tell if people are lying. They have these human lie detectors. They are just keenly aware of BS and don't fall for things too easily. They could be very jealous and possessive. So somebody who has some Scorpio type of energy, or the planet Pluto somewhere very strong in their chart, what I call and define as a Plutonian person, or they have planets in the 8th house of their chart. Plutonian people are going to be just a little bit, I get quote unquote crazy in relationships a lot of times. If you have your personal planets or another person's personal planets, which means Sun, Moon, Venus, Mars, Mercury, in conjunction with or in aspect to another person's Pluto, even if neither one of you are a Scorpio or have any planets in Scorpio or have any planets in the 8th house, you're going to feel this scorpionic type of energy within your relationship. Say that you're like this sweet, loving, innocent lady, and you always give and give and give in your relationships, and you're never jealous or anything. Oh, honey, you can go hang out with your friends and I'll go hang out with mine, and there's no problem, there's no jealousy. But once you get with a person who has Pluto in conjunction with some of your personal planets, you can become kind of that crazy person, or vice versa. They might become that crazy person to you. For example, let me just give a little personal account here, because 7th house people, we like to do that to make you feel like, hey, I understand because I've been there before. We're on the same level and we're balanced. All right. I had this relationship before with someone whose Venus was in conjunction, like exactly with my Pluto. I wasn't really that jealous. I kind of felt like it was a fun relationship and it was something fresh and new and exciting. But very quickly, it turned into this crazy jealous thing, mostly on his part. He's the Venus person, I'm the Pluto person. I wasn't even really that jealous that I can remember because this was many, 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 many years ago, over a decade. But he was, I think he was also like a scorpionic person somewhere in his chart anyway. But, it was just a very, very, very jealous relationship. Everything I did was like, who is that? Where are you going? If I came home even 5 minutes later than usual from work because I stopped to get gas, oh, well, what were you doing? I went to the gas station. I got gas. Oh, really? Well, usually you're home at this time. What's going on? I was getting gas. Gas station? Took 5 minutes. And what can I be doing at the gas station? I can think of a lot of things. Really, Mr. Crazy? I'm pretty sure you can, but I can't, okay? I'm just innocently pumping gas in my car after work. He would harass me to death about that. Another thing about Pluto in conjunction with the personal planets in a relationship is it can create like a kind of a psychic connection between the two people to where you just have this unspoken thing where you know what the other person's doing and thinking. Like if you're thinking about each other, you can be thinking about each other at the same time. It's really trippy. I had that in that crazy relationship too. There was a time when I had a relationship like that, and say for example, I just thought of him and I picked up the phone to call him, and I couldn't get through. It went straight to voicemail. And then I would call and call and call, and it would do that. And then I would wait, and then he'd call me. And then he would get so pissed to be like, I was trying to call you. Who are you on the phone with? And I was like, oh my gosh, I was trying to call you at the same time. Isn't that cool? We were thinking of each other at the same time. Like, that means we're connected, you know? No, he wasn't hearing that. It was all like, what guy were you talking to? I'm like, really? I was trying to get hold of you. I'm like so head over heels over you, you know? So yeah, it was crazy. But if there's not too much craziness going on, it all depends on the aspects and a lot of other planetary, placements and things like that. But this is just a little example. But yeah, you can definitely have this unspoken thing where you just kind of feel things and know things out of nowhere. If you have personal planets in contact with another person's Pluto, say you have, Mercury conjunct another person's Pluto, that's definitely a really, really heavily like psychic type of connection too, to where things are really, really like unspoken. Like you can really communicate with each other, probably on a sort of telepathic level. You don't even have to ask that person a question. You can just kind of know what's going on with them. That's a very, very good placement for just knowing things if somebody is effing up. Like if somebody is cheating and you have your Mercury conjunct their Pluto, no. They cannot get away with it. They really can't, because it's going to make you, even if you're a nice, sweet, innocent person, normally you don't really try to investigate people. You're going to become that private investigator. You're going to dig. You're going to research things. You're going to look into their phone. You may even want to follow them and see where are they really going. What are they really up to? So it can cause that kind of that kind of jealousness and possessiveness. But also, if somebody's messing up, you're gonna know. So another kind of planetary energy that can cause, some craziness in relationships or some kind of bliss or whatever is if a person's Neptune is in conjunction with another person's personal planets. For example, if a person's Sun is conjunct another person's Neptune, it's like an equal exchange of energy, to where one person, I think mainly the Sun person in that case, will not always see the Neptune person as who they really are. They're going to be thinking, oh my gosh, this is my dream person. They're going to not always have such a clear view of them, and they might kind of like dismiss wrongdoings that person does and just kind of like okay, well, let me try to see the benefit of the doubt, and maybe they might not really be doing what I think they're doing. I might be wrong, and you're going to turn all of that inward as far as you find something the person's doing wrong, and then you're going to feel guilty and think, no, but they're a good person. Why am I thinking this? Why am I thinking this craziness? This isn't fair. A personal account I have with that type of exchange of an energy is in the same crazy relationship. Not only did his Venus conjunct my Pluto, but he had all these planets in Sagittarius, and I have Neptune in Sagittarius and in my second house. He had the Sun, the Moon, and Mars in Sagittarius. They all fell very, very closely conjunct my Neptune in my second house. So this person, I was like, wow, he is my dream guy. Oh my gosh. Oh, he is so fine. He is so gorgeous. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's all the things that I thought about this person. Oh, he's Prince Charming. Oh, wow. Yeah. Well, that's kind of the role that he played. And there were some things that he lied about from the beginning that my Pluto conjunct his Venus sensed was wrong. But then all this Neptune energy kind of took over and was like, no, no, it's me. I'm wrong. He's all this and all that, and I'm just, jumping to conclusions here. I don't want to be a crazy girl, so I think I'll just leave him alone or whatever. No, he lied about a lot of things. He lied about where he was from. He even put on an accent to say he was from New York when he was really from nowhere near New York. And he just played along this whole story like for almost a year into our relationship. There was so many things he lied about, but yet when I would confront him on it, because hey, that Pluto energy would tell me there's something beneath the surface here with this person. There's something they're not being completely truthful about, and I would pick up on it. He's lying about this. I would ask him, and then he would spray this Neptune fog over the truth and be like, no, no, that's not true. I'm a good guy. How could you think that about me? Then there's that Venus and Pluto. Back to the Venus and Pluto again. He would turn it around on me, and I would feel so bad. I would take it inward, which is what Neptune in the second house does to you, because the second house is your self-worth and how you value yourself. And all of this Neptunian energy that was being sprayed over him, like I let him take away, because Neptune dissolves. I let his ego, which is the sun, his moon and everything, I let that take away from my self-worth. So I let this person run all over me. So that's kind of an example of what Neptune in contact with your personal planets can do in a relationship. I mean, equally, it can be exchanged. Like I said, the other person can look at you also like you're this perfect person. But once the fog clears for some reason, say there's a transit of Neptune that goes retrograde, then when the fog clears, you're going to be disappointed to find out this person isn't who I thought they were. And you may find out some things that they lied about that you knew was the truth. But they just sprayed that Neptune fog over it. And so you find this out and you're like, wow, like, why didn't I see this before? Why didn't I notice this before? It can get pretty crazy. Some good things about the Neptune energy exchange between two people. As long as you have other energies that play out within your synastry chart, that are more grounded, maybe like Venus conjunct Neptune or Venus in opposition to Neptune. The opposition's a little bit tougher because it's more like you really are always looking at that person like they are your dream person. They're perfect. There's nothing they can do wrong. And if they do wrong, they can turn it around on you and you turn it inward like, oh, it's me that's wrong. There's nothing wrong with them. Venus in conjunction with Neptune is still very strong, and that can happen too. But the good things that can happen are just feeling like a state of bliss whenever you're with this person. You feel like you're in like an alternate universe with them, and time just kind of stops and disappears, and everybody else around you dissolves and disappears. You don't care about anybody else. You're just zoned in and zoomed in on them, just looking at each other like, oh, you're so perfect. Oh, yeah, you too. Oh, That's what can happen with the Neptune energy. With the Pluto, you can get those like blinders on, those shades to where it's like you're zoned in on them, but it's like, you're mine and I want you to be only mine and all to myself and nobody else type of thing. That can still work out if the two of you are okay with that. And like I said, you still have this grounding energy somewhere else that kind of keeps things stable. But still, it can kind of end up a little bit crazy, especially in the Pluto case, where it's Pluto conjunct or in aspect to one of your personal planets, or a personal planet of the other person. That can really make you feel things with them, like I said, unspoken and on a soul level, to where if you break up with that person, you feel like they took a part of your soul with them. You can feel like, because Pluto is life or death, you can feel like part of you died. I've been through that too, where you break up with that person and you feel like you just shrivel up and die. Because it's like, what am I going to do without them? What am I going to do without their energy around? I've been in that case before where I got so physically sick that I couldn't get out of bed. I lost weight. I know I'm already a naturally thin person as it is, but I lost weight and I looked really gross. That's happened to me a couple times. Being a Scorpio ascendant, I mean, a lot of relationships are like dying if they end, So even if you have no Scorpio in your chart, but you have this exchange of Plutonian energy between the two people, that can definitely happen. So that's just something you need to be careful of. But the unspoken bond is just, it's wow. It's really, it could be really something amazing and awesome and just so dope if you have other energies that don't let things get out of control. Same with the Neptune energy. When you separate from that person, you can still have some very, very strong feelings for them. Feelings of, well, what did I do wrong? Why did this relationship, even if it's something, they were like a cheater and they beat you up. They like straight just really did you so wrong and evil. If you had a Neptune connection, you may still be turning it all inward on yourself if you break up with that person, or if your relationship had to end because of some craziness that they did. You might be thinking, wow, they cheated on me. Well, maybe I wasn't good enough. Maybe I wasn't good looking enough. Maybe this other person that they cheated with is so much better than me. You give your power away to others. That's what Neptune does. It can dissolve your own power and give it to other people. So you start thinking, it's all me. I'm wrong. I'm the reason why they cheated. And this other person, you start imagining the person they cheated with. Oh, they must be this gorgeous person, this gorgeous woman. It can be kind of funny sometimes. You imagine the person that they cheated with. Oh, they must be this like big buff dude who's got all this money and all these nice things and a good career. He must be some top dollar CEO that wears a suit and tie, and look at me, I'm nothing. Or, oh, she must be this gorgeous model looking chick and I am just nothing. I'm either too skinny or too big or whatever. You turn it all on yourself. And then you see the person they cheated with and it's some raggedy looking, some raggedy heifer, or like some dude that's just really a busted, bummy dude. And then it's just like, really? So you project this fantasy image onto the other person and give your power away like, oh, they must be so much better. But in reality, a lot of times that's not even the case. So that's something that can really, really happen a lot of times with this Neptune thing in your synastry chart. Now, like I said, it's not all bad. It's not all bad. Just take a look. If you've ever had a crazy relationship, something where that person was a psychopath, or maybe you were a psychopath towards them, or, maybe you didn't really always see the person for who they really were, or there was a lot of lying and deceit, a lot of hidden things, just take a look at the synastry. You don't always have to know the birth time to see the angles between the planets. If there's a conjunction, an opposition, or a trine and sextile, those are a little bit more harmonious aspects. So the energy flow is a little bit more calm and subtle, and it's not always so crazy and psychopathic or, out of touch with the reality or anything like that. But, just take a look though. Take a look back at any crazy relationship you may have had. See if there's some kind of energy flow there. If you know both your birth time and the other person's birth time, or even just your own, and you see where the planets fall in the houses in your chart, or if you have both times, see, the planetary exchange between both people and their houses in their chart. See if there's 12th house or 8th house energy, because the 8th house is scorpionic, the 12th house is Neptunian, Piscean, not seeing everything clearly. Also, look at Uranus, because if you look at Uranus, say like you met somebody out of the blue, right? And you weren't even looking for somebody. You didn't even want to be in a relationship, but like you met this person and it's just a spark that's like, wow, oh my gosh, who are you? Like, what's going on with you? And then all of a sudden you're in this relationship, this crazy like love affair with this person. Look for Uranus, and if it's on again, off again, usually is like Uranus energy is such a big indicator. If you have your Uranus in contact with another person's personal planets or vice versa, look for that if you've had a crazy on again, off again relationship. As far as the soulmate thing, I just kind of feel like you can have a deep soul connection with anybody, whether male or female, a family member, a friend, a lover, a serious relationship person, a not so serious relationship person. You can have a soul connection with so many people in your lifetime. So as far as soulmates, that's kind of an iffy thing to me. I think, yes, it's possible, but I don't think it's just one. I think everybody's meant to touch your life and your heart and your soul in some kind of way and play a role. And sometimes it might be that on that soul level, But that doesn't necessarily mean that you need to be with that one person for a lifetime. It can mean that they're just in your life randomly, sporadically, for that time period, for a reason, for you both to exchange energies and learn lessons from each other and learn how to love or how not to love, and then move on to the next, That was just a little short video I wanted to do. Just talk to my people about these crazy relationships, man. If you have one, look for these aspects, and I would say the best way to deal with them is just to be fully aware of the energy exchange and see how you can kind of calm things down and not be so crazy, or just kind of try to see the person for who they really are and don't just portray and don't just like put this fantasy onto them all the time. Realize what you're doing. Don't internalize things that go wrong all the time, because they may not always be you. Don't let that person put a guilt trip on you. And don't let that person be a damn psychopath, please. All right, well, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you guys in my next video.